Yo, I cannot make this stuff up, but I was just pulling into the parking lot here at the Borgata. There's so much garbage on the ground, being that it's Atlantic City, not exactly the best neighborhood to be in. And I was pulling into this parking spot and I ran over a cup. It must have been yogurt and it fucking exploded through my tire. My tire's fine, right? It's made of rubber, resilient. But it exploded and it cream pied the car next to me. It's got a white yogurt cream pie stain all over it. I just cream pied all over someone's fucking car. All right, let's go play poker. Poker robot, beep beep boop bop bop. It's the Poker Robot. I'm on my way to Atlantic City. I'm meeting up with Panda. I'm playing at the Borgata. Hey, listen, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, because if you don't, your grandma's gonna die of AIDS. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that your grandma would die of AIDS if you don't subscribe. But please subscribe, otherwise she's gonna die of anus cancer. Anyway, this drive from Long Island to Atlantic City sucks. It's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. The only other option is Parks Casino. They're still closed. That's still a 2 hour drive away. And then besides that, it's Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods. Their poker rooms are closed. And I'm not down with them. Come on, Shinnecock Indian tribe, get your shit together. Open up your casino so I don't have to drive 7,000 miles to get in a poker game. All right. I think I just saw a Little John pass me on the New Jersey Turnpike. You think he drives a 1993 Honda? I could be wrong. Okay! Take that! Rewind it back. The Poker Robot got the skills to make your poker stack whack. Woo, that was a drive. I just made it to Atlantic City. I'm about to go inside the Borgata poker room and put my nuts on the table. I mean, my whole cards, the hand that wins, the nuts. Warning, what you're about to see could result in players calling you down more often. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, so I'm going to tell you guys about this hand and the reasons why I decided to play it the way I did. In order to do this, I need to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. I'm into the game for about $800 and currently I'm sitting with about $700 in front of me, so I'm stuck for about $100. Now there's been hands before where I had aces, I had kings, I had queens, and I would raise it and people would fold. So I'm missing out on value. So I decided that I need to get people to start calling me, so I need to loosen my image. So what I decided to do is to play this hand completely blind without looking at my hole cards. So I'm sitting under the gun and I throw out a $6 straddle. Middle position and big blind make the call. So when it comes to me, I have the last action. I decide to put $15 more in there for a $21 raise. Middle position folds, but big blind comes along for the action. The flop comes ace, 4, 8, rainbow. When the big blind checks to me, I decide this is an excellent opportunity for me to throw money into the pot to get him off the hand. So I throw in a bet of $35. I announce that I did not look at my cards and I flip them over. and I effectively showed that I was a loose player, and I believe I tilted the gentleman next to me. I also give the big blind a little jab saying good laydown, laying down the better hand. I want to kind of become the villain. This way later on when I get good cards, people are going to be more likely to call me. And in fact, later on in the session, the big blind where I made this play against, he winds up paying me off on a better hand.
Oh, I didn't even look at it. No, I wanted to challenge myself.
I had a pair of queens.
Woo! Good laydown.
I thought you looked at the card.
No. I wanted to see if I could do it.
You did it. Take a look.
No, sometimes I go through my head and I say, let me see if I could look at people and get something through.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. This is for you.
Good luck, everybody. I'll talk about, how'd you do?
I won 1,600.
1,600.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm into the session for $800. It was a rough one, but I'm out for $876. I tipped the lady $1, so $75. So I was playing for 6 hours, so that works out to $12.50 an hour. So listen, at least I'm not down, I'm up. A win is a win, and that's what counts. All right, so in this next segment, we're going to be doing a line check with Panda. And the name of the segment is called Ask an Asian. All right, so I'm playing at the Borgata. We're 7-handed. It's a 1-3 game, and I probably have about $300 effective. This is probably within 1 or 2 orbits of me sitting down at the table. So it's very early on in the game. I'm under the gun, and I limp with 5-6 of spades, and we have a middle position player. He calls, or he limps in as well, and the big blind just checks it. So Panda, what do you think of this pre-flop action?
All right, so I thought limping, well, generally I don't limp, so that's the first thing. Now, on a soft 1-3 games, I think it's okay. It let us play more hands. It is 7-handed, so we should expand our range. I prefer race. So overall it's okay, right? It's still gonna play fine post flop and all that good stuff, but I prefer race. And when we're under the gun and race, oftentimes we can take the pot down, or we actually hold the people to stronger hands. Like, so they only have strong hands. So if then the flop come all low card, then it's bingo for us. We'll have a better opportunity how to navigate. If it's all high cards, we can still rep them. So there's a lot of benefit to just open race.
And the flop is Jack of Hearts, 7-4 of spades. So I have an up and down straight flush possibility. So it's a 2-outer essentially. The big blind bets $15. I call it, middle position calls. So what do you think of post flop?
So post flop, I think is fine. But the fact that the big blind, like I said, over bets basically in this case, I think calling is fine. We have tons of equity, tons of outs. Makes perfect sense.
All right, so on the turn, there's $55 in the pot. There's still three-handed, technically, three people in the pot, and the turn is a queen non-spade. When the turn comes out, the big blind bets $55. I call it middle position calls.
I actually don't mind a fold at this point. Like, again, he's betting to two players. This is a limp pot. Some people like to go, you know, trappy at the lower stakes. I don't mind a call either. Technically, our straight flush out is still clean. Our straight out, in theory, is still clean. But you know, it's a big bet. I think that's the problem. That's the main problem with this hand right now, is big blind keep betting into two players.
So you're absolutely right. You're saying alarm bells should have been going off, and absolutely they were going off for me. But the reason why I sort of made this donk call, because that's exactly what this is. It's not exactly EV, even though I have a flush draw, but they could have a flush as well. But the only thing is I'm looking at this straight flush possibility, and I know in my heart, as I was putting the chips in, it was the wrong call, 100%. Absolutely knew that. The river comes out two of spades. The big blind jams his entire stack for probably around $200 more, which had me well covered. I snap called and middle position calls as well. So it comes to showdown. Big blind shows ace 3 of spades. So he had one of my outs for the straight flush. MP had 10x of spades, both spades. So it was flush over flush over flush. I got stacked.
So on the river, I would like us to think about it before we snap calls. I think that's the main thing. I know I have done the same thing, you know, chasing the straight flush draw, because that's kind of sexy, right? But the fact it breaks out, I think we like to think about it before we snap call.
Let me ask you a question, Panda.
Sure.
On a scale of 1 to 5 panda bears,
Yep.
how do you rate how I play it? 5 being the best way you can play it, and 1 being needs major improvement. How many pandas do you give this hand?
We have rooms to improve, right? I wouldn't say it was like atrocious. It was definitely not a 1. So overall, I would just give it 2 pandas. Unfortunately, we have some learning points on this hand, but I think it's good that Ed's actually, you know, willing to take some criticism.
All right, Panda, thank you so much. You guys heard it. 2 pandas. I could have played this better. So I think I have an announcement to make. Looking at the last video with Keith, I feel like I'm gaining weight in the belly specifically. So what I'm going to do is a 30-day challenge. I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day, 100 sit-ups a day, 100 pull-ups a day. I'm going to run a mile a day. If I do that straight for 30 days, if I win this challenge, and when I say win, I mean that I complete consecutively and do all these challenges, I think my reward will be, next time I'm in the poker room, as long as the cap isn't ridiculous, I'm going to move up in stakes at 2-5. So, either someone was being murdered last night in the room next to me, or someone was making sweet, sweet love. I heard tables crashing, lamps banging. All I know is when room service happens to go in there, there's gonna be a mess to clean up. Heading over to the Borgata, gonna get in another game. Well, that checkout lady, Donna, was a very nice lady. So that kind of makes up for all the murders that happened in the room next to me. So I told you guys about the one hand that got me stacked, but I want to tell you guys about the hands that got me back into the green. One hand I opened under the gun with pocket 3s, The flop is queen, 3, 5, bottom set. People start betting into me, $15 from the main villain. I raise to 45, he calls. The turn is a 5, so I have a full house. He bets into me, I re-raise him. He re-raises me and I jam, he snap calls, doesn't show. Another hand, again, under the gun with a straddle. How's the damn elevator? Under the gun with a straddle, 6-9 of diamonds. I flop the straight. Same villain keeps betting into me. He had it out for me. So we bet on all streets. I wind up jamming on him at the very end because it was probably a pot-sized bet left at that point. He calls it, I show it, and then at the end he said, "You're my arch nemesis." You're my arch nemesis? I think that's a compliment.
Turn next left.
Turning left, gotcha. So all in all, Harris, I'm not a fan of it. The place is run down. You walk in there, it smells like a Rastafarian convention. Not that there's anything wrong with Rastas. You know what I mean, man. The murder going on across the room, or the pregnancy. Yeah. Overall, not a great hotel. Not a great hotel experience. It's run down.
Left after 700 feet and continue on Brigantine Boulevard.
Right. It's like driving with someone that's like yelling at you. Anyway, I'm not staying there again. Yo, I cannot make this stuff up. And I was pulling into this parking spot and I ran over a cup, but it exploded and it cream pied the car next to me. Early morning cream pies. I guess you can't beat it. You hear that seagull? All right, so overall into the game for 400. I'm out for 520 for 5 hours. So that's 24 bucks an hour. Not amazing, not amazing. But like I was telling Keith and Panda a few days ago, every time I play at the Borgata, I have not had a losing session. Never. Out of all the times I play at Borgata, I have never lost. This session was a roller coaster of a session. The very first orbit, the very first hand, I lost $150 on an ace king. The next hand after that, ace king again, all in. I bought it for 300, so I'm all in for 150, and I doubled up. So down $150 in one hand, up $150 in the very next hand for the very same hand. Crazy. In this session, there really wasn't too many hands of interesting to note, with the exception of towards the very end, when I was in the process of getting unstuck, because I got stuck for a while. I'm under the gun with King 8 of Hearts, one caller, one OMC, and he's been kind of gunning for me the whole day because there was a couple of hands I was taking pots from him and he kept on coming after me. So under the gun, King 8 of Hearts, the flop is 7, 8, 8. He jams I snap call, and that's it. I stacked this gentleman. And that's the hand that actually put me in the positive, because I took all his chips and he stormed off in the huff. So be ready for the health challenge, the workout challenge I was discussing prior. Be on the lookout for a possible vloggers game. So if you like what you see, throw the thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell your mother, tell your sister, and as always, remain untilted and unwavering.